I place a bouquet of sunflowers into the crystal vase my grandmother bequeathed to me, their vibrant faces capturing the late afternoon sunlight streaming through my dining room windows. My azure dress, reminiscent of a clear summer day, flows against my legs as I step back to examine my handiwork. The table sparkles, adorned with my finest dinnerware and a bottle of champagne cooling in an ice bucket. Tonight, everything must be flawless. My gaze wanders to the framed document on the wall, golden embossed text proclaiming my mortgage completely satisfied. 6 months early. Half a decade of doubled payments, foregoing vacations, and endless overtime hours have led to this achievement. At 31, this house belongs entirely to me. Every fixture, every plank, every square inch, mine alone. The doorbell rings, causing nervous excitement to flutter in my chest. I straighten my dress, take a calming breath, and greet my visitors with a rehearsed smile. Welcome emerges higher pitched than planned. My parents wait at the entrance, Dad in his typical button-down, Mom in a crisp floral dress. Their grins seem forced, lacking genuine warmth. Cambria, Mom offers a rigid embrace. The house appears lovely. Dad moves past me, examining the foyer. This area's property values have increased significantly. Wise purchase. Before I can reply, Taryn arrives with my niece and nephew in tow. Her divorce concluded 3 months prior. She evaluates my living space like a real estate appraiser. Where should we store our luggage? She inquires, skipping pleasantries. You're not spending the night? I gently remind her. This is just a dinner, remember? Taryn's mouth tightens. Certainly. Of course. I guide them through my home, pride building as I showcase the hardwood floors I restored personally, the kitchen tiles I laid during a weekend project, the guest bathroom I completely remodeled. You accomplished all this alone? Mom's tone suggests skepticism rather than praise. Every single task, I confirm. YouTube videos and plenty of aching muscles. Dad focuses on his phone, barely acknowledging my work. During dinner, I lift my champagne glass, heart brimming with joy. To independence and completing my first mortgage. Silence lingers awkwardly before glasses reluctantly rise, their subdued clink echoing hollowly against my excitement. Regarding houses, Mom interrupts before I can enjoy my triumph. Taryn faces such difficulties finding accommodation with today's competitive market. Taryn begins describing her landlord troubles and unaffordable rent. Dad nods sympathetically while continuing to text, his screen's blue light reflecting on his spectacles. I prepared chocolate torte for dessert, I announce as dinner plates empty. Let me retrieve it from the kitchen. In the kitchen, I remove the torte from the refrigerator, garnish it with fresh berries, and reach for dessert plates on the upper shelf. A floorboard groans somewhere down the corridor. Odd, everyone should be in the dining area. Carrying the torte, I follow the sound. Approaching my bedroom, I hear the distinctive snap of a measuring tape closing. I nudge the door open with my shoulder. Taryn stands in my master bedroom, measuring wall distances. She freezes, speechless. What are you doing? Just checking the dimensions, she replies too hastily, for decorating inspiration. Before I can respond, another sound draws me to my home office. Dad stands there, phone raised, photographing my desk, files, and personal belongings. Dad. He lowers his device slowly, showing no shame. Cambria. The torte feels burdensome as I retreat. Something feels terribly amiss. I return to find Mom alone in the dining room, hands folded properly in her lap. When she looks up, the affection I've craved my entire life is nowhere to be found. We must discuss this house's future, she states. Shortly after, we're assembled in my living room, a family scene that suddenly feels foreign. My torte remains untouched on the coffee table. Taryn requires a secure home for her children, Dad declares, using the same commanding voice from when I was 10 and caught climbing the neighbor's apple tree. The family needs this property more than you do. What? The word barely escapes as a whisper. Mom reaches beside the sofa and produces familiar green luggage, my old college suitcase. She positions it upright with a soft thud. We've gathered some necessities for you, she explains. Just temporarily while you get re-established. They want me to depart. They expect me to abandon my own home. You want me to surrender my house? The question hovers between us. The one I purchased? Taryn shifts uncomfortably, her children absorbed in their devices, unaware. You can begin again, she says dismissively. I have children to consider. Something on the kitchen counter catches my attention. A stack of business cards. I rise slowly, walk over, and examine one. Lakeside Realty, Janine Thompson. The room becomes hazy as realization dawns. They've already contacted a realtor. This was premeditated. Without speaking, I walk to the front door and open it wide. Cool evening air clears my thoughts. It's getting late, I say, my voice steadier than expected. You all should go. Dad rises, his silhouette stretching across my hardwood. You'll regret this decision. We're family. We'll return tomorrow. As the door shuts behind them, I lean against it, sliding down until I reach the floor. My breathing becomes rapid and shallow. Their betrayal sears like acid in my chest. But alongside the anguish, something else awakens, something fierce and protective. They coveted my home. They would discover they couldn't defeat the woman who created it. Sleep evades me. Every sound, every breeze against the windows makes me sit upright in bed. 3 times I've verified the locks, testing each deadbolt with shaking hands. The grandfather clock in the hallway, a flea market treasure I restored myself, chimes 4 times. Dawn approaches. I wrap myself in the quilt my grandmother assembled before arthritis stole her dexterity. Tonight, the living room feels alien, as if the furniture itself witnessed betrayal and cannot forget. My eyes repeatedly return to where Mom placed that green suitcase, where they expected me to simply disappear. 5 years ago, during my first house tour, Dad stood in the driveway, arms folded. It's excessive for one person, Cambria, he said loudly enough for passing neighbors to hear. Maintenance will bankrupt you. Be sensible. Mom agreed, adding, you could lease something pleasant for half the price, or stay with us until you're truly prepared. I signed the documents anyway, my signature shaking with defiance and fear. That first night alone, I sat cross-legged on bare floors, eating takeout by flashlight until morning's electrical connection. It felt triumphant. Now I pull the quilt closer. Did they resent my independence from that first moment? Was this always their scheme? Morning brings my phone vibrating against the coffee table. Unknown caller. My thumb hesitates before answering. Miss Lorne? This is Anthony Spencer from Mid-Central Bank's Fraud Division. My heart sinks. Fraud Division. Yes, sir. I apologize for the early call, but our system detected suspicious overnight activity. Someone attempted adding 2 names to your property deed, Marcus and Evelyn Lorne. The request came through our online portal. The quilt falls as I stand. Those are my parents. They tried adding themselves to my deed without permission. The system flagged it because the digital signature didn't match your file pattern. Miss Lorne, someone forged your signature. I end the call 15 minutes later with instructions to visit the branch immediately. The sky lightens to pewter as I pack clothes into an overnight bag, not the green suitcase. Never that suitcase again. At the town's edge gas station, I fill my tank while scanning the road behind me. The paranoia seems absurd but necessary. I half expect Dad's silver Buick to appear beside me. The drive home from the bank feels like moving through water. The fraud specialist's words echo with each mile marker. This was a deliberate attempt to transfer partial ownership without your consent. She showed me the forms, the crudely forged signature. The attempt was amateur but determined, like someone who felt entitled to claim what wasn't theirs. I park across from my house, observing it like a stranger might. The blue shutters I painted last spring, the new mailbox post I installed after a teenager's car jumped the curb, the rose bushes I nursed back from near death after the harsh winter frost 2 years ago. An unfamiliar Honda occupies my driveway. My key resists the lock. Did they already change it? But the door opens after extra force. A young woman with a messy ponytail stands in my entryway, surrounded by moving boxes. She startles upon seeing me. Oh, you must be the landlord's daughter. Her smile is warm but uncertain. I'm Brittany Nunez, just moving in today. The floor seems unstable beneath me. Moving in? Yes, I signed the lease yesterday. She searches through a canvas bag, producing a folded document. Your mom mentioned you might visit to introduce yourself. Here's my copy of the agreement. My signature sprawls across the bottom, a signature I never made. The lease grants Brittany 6 months occupancy with extension options. Aren't you supposed to be relocating today? Brittany asks, suddenly wary. Your mom said you were moving for work. I call police from my car, parked 3 blocks away, where Brittany can't witness my breakdown. Officer Ramirez arrives promptly, his expression darkening as I explain. This is clearly fraud, he states, examining the documents. But immediate eviction isn't within our authority. It's now a civil matter, ma'am. You'll need a court order. She's in my house. The house I own. His eyes soften. She's also an innocent party who signed what appeared to be a legitimate lease. The law protects tenants even in situations like this. I'll file the report, but you need legal representation today. I drive away watching my house disappear in the rearview mirror, no destination in mind until Naomi's apartment complex appears. 20 minutes later, my best friend answers the door in sweatpants, her Friday work-from-home attire. One glance at my expression, and she pulls me inside. They did what? She explodes after I explain everything. Her fingers race across her laptop keyboard, accessing Taryn's social media. There it is, posted 3 hours ago. A photo of my living room, my furniture, captioned "So blessed." Our new family home. Fresh start for the kids and me. #blessed, #family first, #new beginnings. The comments overflow with congratulations. Someone I recognize as Mom's church friend writes, "So glad Cambria finally saw reason and is sharing her blessings." How could they do this? My voice sounds fragile, even to myself. Who treats their own daughter this way? Naomi's jaw hardens as she reaches for her phone. Harriet Monroe, she tells me, covering the receiver. Best real estate attorney in 3 counties. My cousin used her when their landlord tried keeping their deposit. While Naomi arranges an emergency consultation, I remember something that sends me diving for my laptop. Last year, after a break-in 2 doors down, I installed a basic security system with cloud-stored cameras. I never deactivated them. The footage loads slowly, thumbnails appearing gradually. There they are, my family entering with a spare key I'd given Mom for emergencies only. Footage from yesterday morning, hours before dinner. Taryn measuring my bedroom, Dad photographing my office, Mom opening my filing cabinet. Footage from 3 days earlier shows Taryn's children jumping on my guest bed. This will be your new bedroom, Taryn tells them, her voice tinny through the speakers. Naomi sits beside me as we watch the most damning clip, dated 2 weeks ago. My parents in my kitchen, heads close together. Once we remove her, we'll sell this place and divide the proceeds, Dad says clearly. The market's favorable right now. Mom nods. She never deserved this house anyway. I close the laptop. The fear that paralyzed me transforms into something harder, something with teeth. I know exactly what must be done now. Later that day, the leather chair in Harriet Monroe's office creaks as I adjust my position. A wall of family photographs flanks her law degree, 3 generations smiling from wooden frames. I study what must be her grandchildren while she reviews my documents, arranging them across her desk like playing cards. Your mortgage is completely satisfied. Every receipt corresponds with your bank statements. Her voice carries the gentle authority of a kindergarten teacher explaining basic rules. The property taxes are registered solely under your name. My fingers fidget in my lap. They're still my family. I don't want to harm them. Harriet removes her reading glasses, revealing eyes that have witnessed decades of human betrayal. Cambria, what they're attempting isn't family behavior. It's fraud. The word strikes like a stone in my stomach. Fraud, a criminal offense. My own relatives. They raised me, I whisper. And now they're attempting to steal what you constructed. Harriet taps the mortgage document. Nobody has the right to take your house. Not even the people who raised you. I close my eyes. Images flash, Mom teaching me to bake snickerdoodles, Dad cheering at my college graduation, Taryn braiding my hair before junior prom. How did we arrive here? We need to stop them, I finally say, the words feeling strange on my tongue. After leaving Harriet's office, I spend the afternoon collecting additional evidence. I gather bank statements showing 5 years of mortgage payments, organize home improvement receipts, the kitchen tiles, hardwood refinishing, bathroom renovation, my name, my credit card, my labor. At the county records office, a clerk with perched glasses prints my property tax history. Just you on the deed, honey, she confirms. Back at Naomi's apartment, I spread everything across her dining table. The security footage from my home plays on my laptop. Dad examining my office, fingers opening drawers, Mom rifling through my filing cabinet, Taryn leading her children through the house, pointing to corners saying, "Your toys can go here." The final revelation comes when I check my email, a forgotten thread from February. Taryn asking for my advice about a rental property she was considering. The attached photos show my bathroom, my kitchen, my bedroom, my house. They've been planning this for months. I tell Naomi, my voice hollow. I haven't slept well since that night on Naomi's pull-out sofa, staring at her ceiling, afraid to return home. In my dreams, I stand outside my house, watching my family through the windows, living my life without me. My phone buzzes with another call from Aunt Judith. I let it go to voicemail. She's left 3 messages yesterday about how I'm destroying this family. When I finally listen to my father's latest message, his voice sounds different. Authoritative, cold. "You're destroying this family over bricks and mortar. Your sister needs a home. You have choices. We don't." I delete it without responding. A knock at Naomi's door startles me from reviewing the legal paperwork Harriet prepared. When Naomi opens it, I see Mrs. Halstead, my neighbor for 5 years, holding a stack of mail. "Thought you might need these," she says, placing the envelopes on the coffee table. Her eyes, magnified behind thick glasses, hold unexpected intensity. "I've been observing them, coming and going from your house during your work hours." I blink, surprised. "You have?" Mrs. Halstead nods, her white hair bobbing. "Taking measurements. Taryn had contractors visit 3 weeks ago, discussing removing that wall between your kitchen and dining room." My breath catches. 3 weeks ago? You're certain? "Honey, I'm 74 with nothing better to do than monitor my street." "I'm certain." She pats my hand. "You transformed that house into something remarkable. Don't allow them to claim it." That afternoon, I gathered with Harriet and Detective Carlos Rivera from the Financial Crimes Unit. His notepad fills with information as I describe what happened. "We're requesting an emergency court order today," Harriet explains, pushing documents in my direction, "and we must prepare the necessary restraining order paperwork." Detective Rivera shakes his head in disbelief. "This represents elder financial exploitation in reverse. I've witnessed parents stealing from their children, though it's uncommon. It's rare for children to attempt stealing a house from someone of your age. They remain my relatives," I respond instinctively. "True family wouldn't behave this way," he states, repeating Harriet's previous observation. The following morning, Harriet and I arranged to meet Brittany, the bewildered renter for my property. Her expression showed shock as we displayed documents across the cafe table. "These are my authentic mortgage documents, positioned next to the fake ones my relatives fabricated. This signature belongs to you," Harriet indicates, "and this one is fraudulent." Brittany's hand covers her mouth in surprise. They appeared completely normal. "Your father gave me the house tour and mentioned his daughter was moving for her career. Your mother prepared cookies for our meeting." My stomach churns. "Mom's baking?" "Naturally. It's a signature manipulation strategy." Every significant discussion from my youth occurred over freshly baked treats. "Will you provide testimony about who conducted the house showing?" Harriet inquires. Brittany agrees, disgust clear on her face. "Definitely. I never would have participated if I'd known." "We understand," I reassure her, though my ability to trust feels damaged, unable to extend far anymore. That evening, alone in Naomi's apartment while she handles a night shift, I arrange old family photographs on the floor. Birthday celebrations, Christmas holidays, family trips. In every image, I examine for warning signs I should have noticed. Age 8, victorious at the spelling competition. Dad claimed my trophy for safekeeping. It was never returned. Another memory, high school graduation. Mom informed the photographer that I inherited my intelligence from her family line. My college acceptance somehow became about their encouragement to apply. The pattern extends throughout my entire existence, suddenly transparent as crystal. This isn't about the property. It never was. It concerns control, possession, and who receives credit for my achievements. I collect the photographs, returning them to their container. Something resolves within my chest. Not peace precisely. Clarity. The night before our legal hearing, Harriet prepares me for my testimony. Express your truth with clarity and composure. Naomi assists me in choosing appropriate attire, a navy blouse and charcoal pencil skirt. Professional and respectable. You appear like someone who settles her mortgage ahead of schedule, she observes approvingly. Before sleeping, I kneel beside Naomi's sofa bed. I haven't maintained regular prayer since childhood, but tonight the words flow naturally. Grant me courage to defend myself. I whisper into folded hands as I shut my eyes. My phone alerts me with a message from Harriet. The court documents have been delivered to my relatives. Tomorrow we'll confront each other in the courtroom. My family desired my house. They would discover they couldn't claim the woman who created it. The next day, I grasp my leather briefcase strap until my knuckles whiten. Ascending the courthouse stairs between Harriet and Naomi, their presence supports me like supports, though my heart pounds against my chest with each upward step. Remember, respond only when directly questioned, Harriet whispers, her silver hair reflecting the morning sunlight. Allow the evidence to speak for itself. Ahead, the courthouse entrance opens. My stomach drops as I notice them, my family approaching from the parking area. Taryn holds her children's hands tightly, her expression arranged in a display of maternal hardship. The kids appear confused, pulled into a conflict they cannot comprehend. Don't interact, Naomi cautions as Dad notices us and separates from the group, approaching me with determination. Cambria, this situation has escalated beyond reason. His voice echoes across the stone steps. We can still resolve this as a family. Harriet moves forward, blocking his approach with remarkable authority despite her petite stature. Mr. Lawn, all communication must occur through legal counsel now. The physical distance between us reflects the chasm that opened the night they attempted to claim my home. Dad withdraws, his jaw clenched with frustration. Inside, the courtroom carries the scent of furniture polish and tension. I settle into my seat beside Harriet, maintaining forward focus as the bailiff announces the court's opening. Judge Winters enters, a woman with graying hair and reading glasses positioned on her nose. The lawyer my parents employed stands first, a polished man in costly attire who speaks with practiced sincerity. Your Honor, this represents a simple family disagreement, exaggerated beyond proportion. His voice flows with reasonableness. The Lawn family maintained a verbal agreement regarding this property as a family asset. I bite my cheek's interior until I taste blood. Taryn approaches the witness stand next, dabbing at non-existent tears. My children require stability following the divorce, she states, her voice trembling perfectly. Cambria always claimed family comes first. We believed she was sincere. Their attorney addresses the judge. Miss Lawn has alternatives. She's young, unmarried, with excellent employment. Is it selfish to deny her sister's children a stable residence? The term selfish burns in my chest. 5 years of double payments, declining vacations, accepting additional projects for bonuses, all to be characterized as selfishness. When Harriet stands, she moves with the calm precision of someone who has witnessed this performance previously. Your Honor, I'll allow the facts to represent themselves. She begins placing documents on the evidence table individually. Mortgage statements displaying every payment made exclusively by Cambria Lawn. Property tax records bearing only her name. Home improvement receipts totaling over $20,000. The courtroom screen illuminates, showing security footage from my dining room. There's Dad, clearly visible, stating, "Once we remove her, we'll sell this place and divide the proceeds." Mom's voice, cold and distinct. She never earned this house anyway. A whisper spreads through the courtroom. Judge Winters leans forward, her expression growing stern. Brittany takes the stand next, nervously adjusting her skirt. Mr. and Mrs. Lawn showed me the property. They explained their daughter was relocating and needed a renter urgently. They possessed keys. I had no reason for suspicion. My moment arrives too rapidly. My legs feel stiff as I approach the witness stand. The oath leaves my lips automatically. Harriet begins with straightforward questions about my home purchase, payments, and renovations. With each response, my voice becomes more confident. Miss Lawn, in your own words, describe the events of April 15th. The memory returns in a rush. Sunflowers and crystal, champagne cooling, my blue dress flowing around my legs. The perfect table arrangement destroyed by their betrayal. I invited my family to celebrate completing my mortgage payments. My voice wavers, then strengthens. Instead, they arrived with a suitcase they'd prepared for me. They anticipated I would surrender my house and depart. What was their reasoning for this? I looked directly at my family for the first time, that the family required this asset more than I did. That my sister had children while I remained childless. Miss Lawn, what does this house mean to you? The question surprises me with its directness. Truth emerges from my lips. 5 years of sacrifice. Countless YouTube tutorials. Blisters from refinishing floors and installing tile. But beyond that, my voice breaks, then steadies again. I earned this home. They didn't merely attempt to steal my property. They tried to erase the woman who built it. Judge Winters nods slightly, encouraging me to continue. Disruption erupts from the family table. Dad stands suddenly, his face flushing deep red as Harriet presents the forged lease document. This is absurd. We were attempting to help her manage a property too large for one person. Mom rises beside him, her voice frigid. We raised you. You're indebted to us. Taryn adds to the chorus. You've always had advantages. I have children. Judge Winters strikes her gavel sharply. Order. When silence returns, she removes her glasses, fixing my family with a gaze that could slice diamond. In my 3 decades on the bench, I've seldom witnessed such calculated family betrayal. She turns to me with unexpected kindness. Miss Lawn, your restraining order is approved. Your ownership is confirmed without question. She faces my family again, her voice hardening. I'm recommending additional investigation into attempted fraud. This court is dismissed. The gavel falls like thunder. Outside, reporters gather at the courthouse steps base. One extends a microphone toward me. Miss Lawn, any statement about family property disputes? I pause, finding words I never knew I possessed. Sometimes the most difficult boundaries to establish are with those we love most. Dad pushes through the crowd, making one final attempt. This will destroy your mother, he hisses. For the first time in my life, I walk away from him without responding, my head finally held high. At the corner coffee shop 15 minutes later, Harriet raises her mug in a quiet toast to justice. The victory tastes bittersweet on my tongue. I've lost my family today. Harriet reaches across the table, her hand covering mine.
No, dir.
You've lost the illusion of what you believed your family was. Tears flow down my cheeks as I contemplate returning to an empty house that is finally, truly mine alone. The next day, the locksmith works in methodical silence, removing the final traces of the locks my family once accessed. Each metallic click and turn feels like severing another connection to the people who attempted to steal my life. These are high-security models, he explains, handing me 3 gleaming keys. Nobody's entering without breaking a window. I clutch them in my palm, the metal edges pressing into my skin. The security system is fully operational. The code is your birth date as requested. Motion sensors in every room. After his departure, I stand in my entryway alone. The house feels both familiar and strange, like returning to a childhood home now occupied by strangers. Except the strangers were my family, and they left evidence everywhere. In the living room, family photographs still hang on the wall. Mom and Dad on their anniversary trip to Niagara Falls. Taryn's wedding portrait from 6 years ago. The 4 of us at Thanksgiving when I was 19. Smiling faces frozen in moments of what I once believed was love. My hand shakes as I remove each frame, the weight of false memories heavier than the glass and wood containing them. I place them carefully in a cardboard box labeled family in thick black marker. The answering machine blinks with 7 new messages. I press play, and my mother's voice fills the room. Cambria, honey, we need to discuss this. This has all gotten out of control. Your father and I only want what's best for you. Please contact us.
Delete.
It's Mom again. You're breaking my heart with this silence. I didn't sleep all night worrying about you.
Delete.
Cambria Marie Lawn, this is immature. We raised you better than this. Delete. I yank the cord from the wall, and the machine falls blissfully silent. The doorbell rings. My heart pounds against my ribs as I check the security camera Harriet insisted I install. Not my family. Mrs. Halstead from next door, holding what appears to be a casserole dish. I brought lasagna, she announces when I open the door just wide enough to see her. Figured you might not feel like cooking. I hesitate, then open the door wider. That's very thoughtful. Mrs. Halstead steps inside, her keen eyes taking in the packed boxes and bare walls. Good for you, honey. Reclaiming what's yours. You knew what they were doing, didn't you? Before I did. She sets the dish on the counter. Saw your sister with a contractor 3 weeks before that dinner. Measuring your porch, discussing removing the railing. Her mouth pinches tight. Not right, what they attempted. Not right at all. The validation from this woman I barely know breaks something loose inside my chest. They're telling everyone I abandoned them, that I'm having some kind of breakdown. Small minds require big lies. Mrs. Halstead pats my hand. The neighborhood's organizing a little welcome home gathering for you Saturday afternoon. Welcome home. I never left. No, she says with a knowing smile. But now you're truly here on your terms. After she leaves, I discover an envelope pushed under my door. No return address, just my name in my father's unmistakable handwriting. Inside, a single note card. You'll understand one day. We meant well. My fingers crush the card, rage burning up my throat. They meant well. They tried to steal my house. They forged my signature. They packed my clothes and expected me to disappear. The backyard fire pit, the one I built myself last summer while my father insisted I should leave it to professionals, seems like the perfect place for their final message. I strike a match, watch the flame catch the corner of the card, and drop it into the pit. As it burns, I make myself a promise. No more manipulation disguised as love. No more guilt wrapped in family obligation. This house is mine. My life is mine. And no one will ever take that from me again. The autumn light catches the fresh sage green walls of my living room as I arrange a final cushion on my new sectional sofa. 6 months have passed since the courthouse steps, since I walked away from the family that tried to claim what was mine. The house smells of lemon oil and fresh paint, every surface transformed by my own hands during weekends of therapeutic renovation. Perfect timing, I call out as Naomi lets herself in through the front door, carrying a tray of appetizers. The cranberry sauce just finished simmering. She pauses, taking in the dining room table I've set with mismatched vintage china collected from weekend trips to small-town antique shops. No crystal vase tonight.
No pretense.
Cambria Lawn, she says with a low whistle. When you rebuild, you don't mess around. I laugh, the sound still surprising me with its ease. Wait until you see the office. What was once my spare bedroom, the room Taryn had measured for her children, now houses floor-to-ceiling bookshelves filled with volumes on architecture, design, and psychology. My desk faces the eastern window, where morning light streams in while I work on the training materials for the financial abuse support group I started at the Women's Center. The doorbell chimes, and I feel none of the flutter of anxiety that once accompanied that sound. Instead, my shoulders remain relaxed as I open the door to Mrs. Halstead, her silver hair swept into an elegant twist, carrying a homemade apple pie. Happy Thanksgiving, dear, she says, squeezing my hand. First of many in your sanctuary. Behind her, Harriet climbs my front steps, accompanied by 2 colleagues from my support group. Their faces light with warmth rather than the calculating assessment my parents brought to the same threshold half a year ago. Welcome, I say, and this time my voice holds steady. An hour later, we're gathered around my dining table, no empty chairs waiting for approval that will never come. Steam rises from dishes prepared with care rather than anxious perfection. The conversation flows without the undercurrent of judgment that used to make family gatherings feel like treading water with weights strapped to my ankles. Before we eat, I say, lifting my water glass, I want to toast to the family we choose and the boundaries that protect us. Glasses clink with genuine enthusiasm, not the hollow sound of obligation. Later, while serving pie, Naomi nudges me. That promotion came at the perfect time. I nod, thinking of my office at Midwest Pharmaceutical, where I now manage a team of 6. Peterson actually said it was my newfound assertiveness that clinched it. Turns out standing up to family fraud makes board meetings less intimidating. Funny how that works. Harriet quips, and everyone laughs. After dessert, I slip away to my bedroom and return with a cream-colored envelope. The Arizona postmark arrived 3 weeks ago, and I've read the contents enough times to memorize Taryn's tentative handwriting. She apologized. I tell Naomi quietly while the others chat in the living room. Said she didn't see how wrong it was until they tried the same tactic with her new landlord. And Naomi asks. And I wrote back, setting clear terms. I can't forgive without inviting the same people back into my home. The evening winds down as fall turns to early winter outside my windows. Standing in the doorway, watching headlights disappear down my street, I feel the solid presence of the house at my back. Not just walls and a roof, but a testament to what I've built twice over. Tomorrow I'll place the "For Sale by Owner" sign in my front yard. Not in defeat, but in triumph. This house served its purpose. It taught me what I'm capable of defending. The real estate listings for Portland wait on my coffee table, possibilities rather than escape routes. In my garden, under the watchful gaze of bare trees, I imagine myself speaking to everyone who has ever questioned their right to stand firm against those who claim to love them while taking what isn't theirs. They nearly took my home, but they couldn't take the woman who built it. What would you fight for, even against those you love most? As I close my door against the November chill, keys warm in my palm, I know the answer. Boundaries don't make you selfish. They make you free.